What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday night. What is going down, y'all? Let's see. We're telling people. Oh, there you guys are. What's up? I remember a time when Instagram, what's up, Skate, would not allow anybody to be notified that I went live. That was a fun time in my life. Hi, Louisa. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, there was like a period of 6 months when I would go live and it wouldn't notify anyone. I don't know if some of you guys may remember that. I don't know what I did to earn that. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome, guys. Happy Saturday night. Hey, Pam. Happy Saturday. What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? It is Saturday night. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. I hope everyone is recovering from the Charlie Kirk haze. No, not yet. Maybe just a little. Still on everyone's mind. My God. Good to be here. And yes, I remember that time. Skate, you definitely remember that time. You've been around a while. I appreciate your support and your continued subscriber, follow, audience-ship. Truancy, that's what I'm saying. That's how I feel about it too, my friend. I don't know. We're not going to spend a lot of time, if any, talking about Charlie effing Kirk. Okay? Exactly. Thank you, Flossie. You just said it. What an energy harvest that was. That is exactly what it was about, my friends. Right? Y'all know that, right? Whether he's alive or dead, it was an energy harvest. Fear and trauma. That is what they specialize in. That is what they make sacrifices to. That is the sick people that do this ritualistically. What's going down? I actually made it to the live. Hey, Anu, good to see you, man. I mean, and look, you can either fall into the crowd and buy into it and let it consume you, as it has many people over the last week, nonstop, or you can realize that it is a distraction. It is literally orchestrated at the highest level to distract you from what is important in your life and to instill fear in you so that you cannot think and to instill more trauma into you, because we are not meant to see things like that, my friends. We're not meant to see Twin Towers destroyed and people jumping out of 110 stories. We're not meant to see presidents' heads blown off. Do you understand? We're not built for that, and they know it. And the effect can be indelible. So we know this about Charlie Kirk, that we've been lied to, and the fact that we don't know anything that really happened. And you know what? Well, we're never going to truly know. They're only ever going to let us guess at it. You guys know that, right? And hopefully this is a learning lesson for them, that they're not going to be able to get away with the same shit that they've always got away with because of social media, because of bravehearts like Candace Owens and people who are hell-bent on exposing them for the frauds and liars they are. But my point is, look, I have my theories, guys, and I mean, look, all right, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it for 10 minutes, and then we are gonna move on because it's not worth talking about. All right. The truth is, whether he is alive or dead, it's the same thing. It doesn't change anything. The fact that his wife was giving a press conference less than 48 hours later and a funeral 3 days later, is that not the chain of events? That is unheard of. That is, and then for her to be like smiling and trying not to laugh at that press conference, making jokes about Turning Point, and then I mean, like, it was terrible. Remember, I was an actor for 20 years. I trained in the craft. I mean, that was terrible improvisation. It was amateur hour. I mean, she did all right. She's not an actress. They really primed her up. Someone said, oh, she's probably on medication. There's no medication. There's no medication. 48 hours after seeing what the neck of the father of your children's completely blown off, there's no medication to prepare you. There was no true grief there. Look, I know everybody grieves in their own way. How can you pressure a widow less than 48 hours to make a press statement. And not only did she do it, but she got dolled up to do it. She looked very composed. She did not look stricken. At no point in time did she truly look stricken. She's a clone. She could be. Listen, I would have never even entertained the thought that this could have been a giant hoax, except for the fact that his wife's performance was so just ridiculous to me. I mean, and maybe because I'm an actor and I saw something that Candace didn't, because Candace thought, she's a good woman, but Candace was friends with her. And you guys understand that if Candace would have pointed out anything about the wife, they would have pounced on her like fucking, it would have been like vultures. They would have converged on her. But the whole thing stinks. And you know what? They're going to keep throwing stuff into the water to keep us confused and misdirected. And it's not worth your time. Charlie, don't give them what they want, right? Don't pay any more attention to this shit. Change your algorithms. Click on some puppies. Click on some cute cats. Click on some funny stuff. It's bad enough our feed is filled with children buried in the rubble of Gaza every day that we're paying for, and half the country's pretending like it's not happening. That's bad enough, right? But this is a total misdirection, no matter what is true about it. That is the only thing that you can bet on, that this was done to divide and conquer, to pass legislation. The first thing Bondi said when she finished her speech, hi Diana, good to see you, was we need to pass hate speech, we need to censor more. This all happened on Discord. You guys, it's a bad joke. I didn't even actually watch her performance. I couldn't swallow more than a minute. It was Terry, it was bad. Terry, it was so bad. It was so unbelievable. And then she's draped over the coffin. I swear, this is it. I got 3 more minutes on this subject, and then we're going to talk about something important. She was draped over the coffin, going, baby, 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 baby. I'm like, and she's hiding her face so we can't see that she's not really crying. And then she's like kissing his hand. She's like, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, this is, hey Betty, I mean, it was just like, I hate reality TV, and that's what all this is. It is reality TV. I mean, I was just telling a loved one. Do you guys think that it's do you guys think it's like an anomaly that if we post pictures of a child bleeding in the rubble at Gaza, we get the black screen and censored, or we get the post taken down? But for 24 hours, Instagram and every other social media allowed everyone to see Charlie Kirk's neck allegedly shot off. No censorship. I mean, what does that tell you about the event? I mean, do I need to remind everyone that YouTube was censoring multiple shooters during the Vegas massacre? How do I know that? I interviewed the whistleblower who downloaded it from their servers to find out. That's how I know that. So this is a massive orchestration to harvest trauma and fear, to divide the left and right further, to pass legislation that will stampede the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's all it is. And it's not worth talking about. What we need to remember is what they're trying to keep us from, and that is ourselves, our family, our loved ones, our dreams, what we're doing with ourselves, our goals. It's easy to forget all those things when the world seems to be in complete chaos. And when you want to misdirect the public, what do? You need to create a spectacle. And they have. So I don't know. I don't know if Charlie is still with us or not. I tell you what I do know. Charlie seemed like a good dude. I didn't really follow him. I don't follow politics. Like I said, I don't watch reality TV. But I tell you, I like what he said, and he had a lot of balls to say it, considering who his donors were. He took a lot of heat. So, it's hard to imagine that he's alive, anything is possible these days. You guys know that the fucking skullduggery, it runs deep, and they've gotten really good at it, you know? So anyway, yeah. Let's talk about something far more important. I don't watch TV, period. Good. Throw your TV out. I mean, just don't watch network television. You know, stream something like on Gaia. But don't watch the news, for God's sakes. Listen, unless, you know what? You know why I watch the news? He was a Freemason. Of course he was a Freemason, Arkansas. They're all Freemasons. You don't get a couple $1 billion from, you know, lobbyists if you're not a Freemason. That's not how it works in this country. I'm out fishing watching you. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. You gonna be online later? Let me know. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, what was I gonna say? You know, yeah, the fact that this is a distraction and that it's succeeded so well is astounding. And the fact that people immediately swallowed the lone gunman theory is just as disturbing as them believing that Hamas invaded Israel. Are we ever going to learn, my friends? Are we ever going to figure it out? If you are online, shoot me a message, bro. I mean, we got to snap out of it, you guys. We cannot continue to let them divide and conquer. This is their basic and most effective tactic. And we have to know it's coming, because it's always coming. You know, the more the financial system spirals into oblivion, the more they need stuff like this to keep us looking that way, so that they can do things like vote on the fact that, well, let's make it illegal for the Pentagon to boycott Israel. So the Pentagon's not allowed legally to stop sending aid to Israel. There's a good idea. Pass that while they're all talking about Kirk. And those Epstein files that they promised, yeah, they ain't coming out. They took care of that while you guys were distracted with Kirk too. No questions asked, right? It's all misdirection. So we have to transcend the bullshit. You cannot be consumed by it, and you certainly should not let it keep you up at night, and you shouldn't be worried about, that's what they want. And what do you do when you worry about something? You give energy to that outcome. It is not worth your anxiety. It's, you know, the world is going to go on the way it's going on, period. The best and only thing you can do is return to yourself. Do what you know you need to do to keep yourself healthy and happy, and pursuing your goals and your dreams, and figuring out what you love to do on this planet that excites you. That's why we're here, to figure out what we love and pursue it. We're not here to digest Charlie Kirk and his atrocious murder online. We're not meant for those things, you guys. And that's why that's why Instagram had no problem letting 100 million people around the world watch that happen. When if you or I, and many of you do with me, try to post a picture of a child being dug out of the rubble, and the child has a little blood on his face, we get censored. There's a reason for that. So don't fall into the pitfall, my friends. Rise above it. Transcend that bullshit. It is fucking... the stuff that's coming out about Kirk is the Happy Meal McDonald's of propaganda. There is no, as usual, thought that goes into any of these things they prepare and put out. Let's see, getting ready to move from the commie state of Colorado to Florida, to free Florida. Nice. Truancy. I want to be free from being on a list restricting my travel. Damn, Truancy, that's quite a notch you have on your belt, brother. I wish you good luck on that. Damn, Truancy, I didn't know you were on the list. So is my friend Josephine. You all know Josephine, right? I had Josephine on my podcast. God, she's a fucking warrior. She's just relentless. Just always trying to get into DC and getting arrested. What's real? Oil? Source, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Anyway, let me see what else you guys are saying. What else did I miss here? Let's see. Florida. Discernment is the key. That's right. Discernment and common sense, my friends. Like a little bit of respect for forensics and physics goes a long way. You know, like I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up in a hunting state. So we learned to shoot rifles at a young age. We learned gun safety, you know, and we learned about ballistics and what guns do. And like, you know, a 30-06, like the moment I saw it, I knew it wasn't possible, that it was not what they said. Physics would not allow it. Charlie's neck would have been blown clean off. That's what a bullet of a 30-06 does. It doesn't poke a little hole in it. I mean, the government they're the ones who came up with the magic bullet. Remember JFK? They literally told someone in court that this bullet fucking entered Connally, exited Connally, entered the president, exited the president, and ended up on his stretcher. They called it the magic bullet. That defies the laws of physics. Remember 9/11? Remember how many laws of physics had to be defied to keep that narrative going? And still, Wikipedia loves to keep those those physics-defying acts on my YouTube videos. Thank you, YouTube, and thank you, Wikipedia. Anyway, let me see here. I'm from the UK. They have divided people even more. It's getting violent. Women getting raped. US told it doesn't belong in the UK as it was happening. No one is being caught. That's crazy. That's bad. Let me see. This is all designed to create more division. That is exactly right, Yolanda. Common sense is lost. Common sense and logical thinking, and stop believing everything that they're telling you. I mean, when are you guys going to stop buying the lone gunman theory? I don't know if anyone listening actually still subscribes to any lone gunman theory. But let me tell you, whenever the government says it's a lone gunman, you can bet every penny that it's not. Do I have to go into the history of lone gunmen, going way back? Timothy McVeigh, the lone bomber. Yeah. Timothy McVeigh, the man who literally asked for directions to get to the building that he supposedly cased for 3 weeks. The 7-Eleven attendant just happened to report that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Stop and ask for directions to that building that you're going to blow up because you've cased it for 3 weeks, according to the federal police. But you forgot how to get there. It must have been Tim. Yeah. Timothy was just another victim. My God, man. It goes way back, guys. Listen, what you guys need to realize is you need to turn it off. Turn Charlie Kirk off. I'm going to do the same. Change your algorithms. It's just really not worth. I mean, like, unless you like soap operas, what do they call them? Telenovas. You know, unless you're into reality TV and melodramatic sitcoms, if that's your thing, then go to town. You know, like, but if you feel like maybe there's something better to do with your time, you know, like digest something that is actually good for your body, good for your soul, right? Because you guys understand that fear and trauma will make you sick. Fear and trauma, it will contract. It will literally contract your DNA. And love and joy expands your DNA. And we have a lot of DNA that we don't even understand. Scientists call it junk DNA. And that tells you a lot about our science and what it's worth. Yeah, it's not junk DNA. It all has a purpose. And as we evolve spiritually, that purpose will make itself more and more known in our abilities and in our intelligence and in our multidimensional awareness. But not if you're consumed watching freaking soap operas and reality TV. There's so many better things to do, right? And like, you know, look, I see everyone wants to talk about this, and I'm just trying to encourage you guys to get back to what's important. Family, right? Love, the pursuit of your goals, your dreams. That's what you should be doing with your time, not wasting it, letting them create an insane amount of chaos and fear in everyone's life. Listen, I saw the video and I was appalled. I was sick to my stomach when I saw the video. That is what they want. That is why they do these rituals. Do you understand? This is just another Masonic, you know, you could call it Luciferian. It's a cult. The symbology is right in your face, real or not. You know, they at the Bohemian Grove, they go through and they do fake child, you know, sacrifices to Moloch. Moloch. Who's Moloch friends with? Oh yeah, what's his name? The star of Remphan. Yeah, that's right. That Jewish star. It's not really a Jewish star. It's the Rothschild emblem that they used to propagandize the Jewish people into identifying Israel as their home state. The star of Remphan. Remphan was buddies with Moloch. Moloch was the god of child sacrifice. You guys don't think there could be a connection there, do you? Between the child sacrifice thing and Israel? I mean, it makes sense. How many children have been murdered? Some estimates put the total death toll over 600,000. Yeah, they don't want you talking about that. They want you talking about Charlie Kirk. They don't want you to pay attention to the fact that for the 6th time, the United Nations voted, and every single member of the United Nations voted. Some of them don't even recognize Palestine as a state, but unanimously, they voted for a ceasefire. And if the vote had gone through, it would have allowed the UN to use its armed forces of its nations to go in and stop Israel from killing and starving and ethnically cleansing and stealing and destroying. And for the 6th time in 2 years, the United States, being one of 5 member states, used its veto power to stop the ceasefire. That's the United States. The United States is the sole enabler of this genocide. Israel's not the good guy, CJ. You're fucking confused. Terribly confused. Israel's the good guys. Dude. Anyway, sorry. It's an old friend on YouTube who loves to say shit that pisses me off. Hebrew points travel inside the... Oh, hollow points travel inside the body. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to get into the ballistics of it. Let's see. What else you guys want to talk about, huh? Sit outside and talk to your neighbors. That's right, Diana. Sit outside and talk to the birds. Sit outside. I had a wonderful conversation with a hawk just a few days ago. I don't know if you guys saw. I posted it on my Instagram story. And there used to be a little chipmunk that I used to talk to, but I think he like grew up and I think he went and tried to find a mate because he stopped coming around. I was sad there for a while. But you can go out in nature and talk to the animals. You can go out and you can meditate. There's so much better things to do. Don't you guys know that, right? Yo, Energy, what's up? There's a lot of oil. What is this dude talking about? Hold on a second. Let me just take care of him. Thank you. Goodbye. I don't have a monitor, guys, so I got to do all this stuff myself. But listen, did you guys see the podcast I put out with Gary Wayne? It's on fire right now. You guys know Gary Wayne. He wrote the Genesis 6 conspiracy. He's like a freaking encyclopedia about all things biblical conspiracy. I mean, he is the man. My brain was melting out of my ears listening to this guy. I mean, he talks about the giants, the fallen angels. Terry just finished watching it. Nice. It's a good one. He's so good. I could have him on like 5 more times, and there's just I get through like 5 questions of the 25 I have for him. Let's see. The weakest gain their power through. That's right. Explains the Gaza genocide. That's right. It does, Melanie. It does explain the Gaza genocide of children. I mean, people don't understand the power of symbology, and they don't understand the fact that this flag that they fly is literally the Star of Remphan. not David. This was made up. This was fabricated by the Rothschilds. And Remphan and Moloch are of the same tabernacle. And the Bible does not speak well about them. And Moloch is this. There's different forms of Moloch. You see Moloch at Bohemian Grove. They do their little, the parasite class, aka the elites. Don't call them elites, guys. Call them what they are, the parasite class. If everyone started calling them the parasite class instead of the elites, then eventually one of the fucks would hear it and be like, hey, well, they're not calling us elites anymore. They're calling us parasites. That's because that's what they are. They're parasites. And they're using all of us to leech their resources from. And as long as you all stay stuck, captivated by trauma and fear, they're going to keep doing it because we're never going to be able to think our way out of this in that condition, in that state. And we have to. We have to transcend it. We got to lose the fear, guys. And I can tell you about that. A population that is not mortally afraid is absolutely uncontrollable. What would have happened in 2020 if they rolled out their little bullshit plan and everyone was like, I'm not afraid. There would have been no health crisis because no one would have ended up going to the hospital to die. Yeah, you guys noticed that none of the homeless passed away? Nobody died at home. Did you notice you had to go to a hospital to die during that time? It is the third leading cause of death in America anyway. Hospitals and pharmaceuticals. Don't get me started on that. That's usually why I get suspended and time limiting and punishments on Instagram. But my point is, understand that death is not the end of anything. It is not. It's nothing to fear, right? I know we have biological programs in us that make us want to survive, that give us a fear of dying. But when you understand that you can't truly die, that you can't ever end, there is no end to you. There is just one birth after the next. And you were here long before you got into this physical body, and you're going to be here long after. And that should give you great comfort. If you could come to terms with that and realize that this is just your avatar for this go around, this dream that we get to experience. And it's the blink of an eye. And you don't even know it, but you're living all these other lives at the same time as you are right now. And this is all going to work out. You know why? Because it's God's plan. That's why. It can't not work out. God doesn't make plans that don't work out, my friends. It can only work out. Everything that happens is only a catalyst for it to work out. And when you realize that and you adopt that belief, everything changes. When you realize that everything that's happening to you, no matter how dark, no matter how shitty, is happening to you for your best interest, for you to become the best version of yourself, guess what? That path leads you to that person. Then it's always win-win. Then there is no negative. And I'm not saying, like fake it till you make it. I'm saying you take the hits and you get up and you realize the hits were there so you can understand more about yourself. And the more you know about yourself, the more you can love yourself. The more you deny about yourself, the harder it's going to be to love every part of yourself. And some parts of us have been walled off, cordoned off from trauma, abuse, neglect. Not many of us make it out of childhood unscathed. So there's a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. And if everyone was doing it, then this fucking shit show of society that we see, it would not be like that. We would be living in something that resembles the utopian futures that were painted in the 50s and 60s with the flying cars and everyone understanding there's more than enough for everyone. I mean, and that is the truth. Scarcity is a mindset, my friends. It's a belief system. And your belief systems shape your lives. They shape your experiences. So you have to know what they are, because most of them are unconscious. Most of them are programmed into you. You adopted them from your guardians and your parents. Your guardians and your parents are essentially, those are your gods growing up. When you're a child, that's all you know. That's all you can know. I didn't know I was from a dysfunctional family until it took me about 30 years to figure it out. I mean, I knew something was wrong with me, but I think most families are dysfunctional. That's the good news and the bad news. Not many people get out unscathed. And there's a lot of work to do, right? And so don't waste your time, watching Charlie Kirk and complaining about Ben Shapiro, the little rat that he is. Sorry, I could not resist. Ben Shapiro is just so easily dislikable. He's such a shill. Anyway, but as I'm saying, do you see how easy it is? Do you see how easy to fall right into it? It's so easy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Return to what's important, right? There's 1,000 things you could be doing with each moment of every day. And trying to figure out the Charlie Kirk murder mystery is not the best use of your time. It's not even the best use of my time, and I make videos about this shit. Maybe in 10 years, I'll take a look at it, because we won't know why it was done until then. You understand? We won't know why they did it. Anyway, you guys tell me what else is going on. Let me see here. I think once Kirk has his funeral tomorrow. I thought he already had a funeral, Ventura. Let me see. God, I can't read, but I need dragonflies here. I watched the sunset, and my dog got pets from our neighbor. Franklin, that is a fantastic night. That is a wonderful use of your time, my friends. Listen, if you guys are feeling the immensity of the chaos, just go outside. Just go outside and take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass. Put your feet in the sand and sit there for 20 minutes and listen. Listen. Listen to the wind. Listen to the ocean. Let your biorhythms in sync with Mother Earth. And she is there for you. She is a conscious, powerful mother. And she's always waiting for you to stick your feet in the grass, to put your hand on a tree, to smell and talk to a flower. She is always waiting for you to do that. That makes her so happy. Do you understand? To see her children do that. It literally, that lights her up. You can talk to her, too. I have. You can, too. You can conversate with her. She's conscious. She'll talk to you. You just got to plug into her, which is something you can learn to do. Absolutely. Everything is conscious in its own right. Let me see here. Why is the Star of David looking symbols on my Tibetan singing bowl from the Om store? So there's variations on that star, Franklin. There, some 5 points, some 6 points, and then, so it could be that. I don't know. I'd have to see it to know exactly what it's talking about. Is Kirk's death pointing to a small nation in the Middle East? If Kirk's death is pointing to that small nation in the Middle East, how is that distracting? I don't know. Did you know that during Kirk's death, they were passing legislation that makes it illegal for our Pentagon to stop selling arms to Israel? Did you know that was going on? Did you know that they quietly voted not to force the release of the Epstein files? Did you know that as soon as Kirk's death was finished, Pam Bondi announced that there has to be a crackdown on online censorship because of the use of Discord, which was, if you've read that conversation, you know that it's like fucking the most idiotic exposition ever written by the CIA, and that's saying something. I mean, nobody talks like that. Nobody writes like that. That every sentence is exposition. It's fucking ridiculous. Did you know that was going on, Gene? Because most people didn't. Um, that happened right under your nose while you were distracted with Kirk. And this is just the beginning. Do you understand? When they do something like this, I keep telling you guys this, it's because it checks a lot of boxes. It takes a lot of people to agree to orchestrate something of this magnitude. And the only way they get everyone to sign off on it is if they say, look, if you do this, then we can pass that, we can do this, we can pass the Patriot Act, we can go into the Middle East, we can harvest the fucking heroin, we can steal the oil from Iraq, we can knock off some of those nations we've been meaning to pillage and rape and plunder. All right. We'll go along with it. That's what they do. It always checks a lot of boxes. And you don't find out about how many boxes until years later. And you can rest assured that we will be finding out about the boxes that the assassination of Charlie Kirk checked for the years to come. That I guarantee it. Anyway, what else did I miss here? Costco still open, but don't, Pam, I know, don't get me started. I was just rewatching Indoctrination. Fantastic documentary. You should have won awards. Victoria, Faust, thank you for being a breath of fresh air under all this fuckery. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate and love that, how poetic that comment is. I appreciate that. Hey, Deep Shallow Dive, good to see you, bro. I went to the hospital and emergency room was empty. Don't get me started, Diana. I was in Manhattan at the time, which was a nightmare. And I would walk down to the triage that was set up in Central Park and just sit there and watch it. And nobody was going in or out for hours. I was like, this is such fucking horseshit. I was so upset. I was so angry at being stuck in that city. It's the reason why I left. I would go down to the USS Mercy, and I would sit there and watch. Not a soul, not anyone. I would go and watch. And I was like, everything is bullshit. It's all my suspicions confirmed, you know. Anyway, this is no different than that. Let's see what else I missed here, guys. Okay, Karen's laughing at me. That's good. Let me see what else. When people are too complicated, I go to the woods. That is a good motto, my friend. Skate. I spend a lot of time staring at my cats and petting them. That's why, listen, I take such joy from my dogs. I wish I could have a cat, but you know, like my mom is deathly scared of cats, and she'll never visit if I get one. But I would love a cat. Dogs are so great like that. I have this crazy theory. Do you guys want to hear it? It's fucking nuts. Many of you are gonna be like, all right, he's crazy. I'm not here. So I have this. Just bear with me, all right? Dogs, unlike the wolf, have evolved to have whites around their eyes, right? There is no reason for that genetic trait. And so I have this theory that, well, God at the highest level, but the same people who hybridized the humans were like, listen, they're going to need a lot of help, okay? They have this extremely wide range of emotions, and their evolution has already been, you know, had one too many interventions, and they're so, you know, they're like a 5-year-old in a 14-year-old's body with the brain of a 20-year-old. They're in trouble. What can we do? We could give them dogs. So dogs are officially the most varied species on the planet, and they have, unlike the ancestor we're told they come from, the wolf. Show me the fuck how you get a pug from a wolf, okay? I don't believe that in that evolution right there. That is bullshit. That's like saying humans came from Neanderthals. You can't come from something that you walk the planet at the same time as. It's not how evolution even is supposed to work in theory. But so bear with me. When we look at dogs, right? And because of the whites around their eyes, because of this anomaly genetic trait, we have a connection with them that is almost the same as we do with a human, right? And dogs are super present. They can only be present. That's why when a dog gets hurt, you know, they're so tough. They don't have the consciousness to feel sorry for themselves, and you know, like they're you can marvel at the presence, and I believe that's why they're so incredible. Why we have such a deep connection to them. And I also believe that the more you love your dog, the more conscious it becomes. I believe that that love and that coherent energy that comes from love creates a greater level of consciousness in animals like that. And if you ever see someone who like has all these intense interactions with a dog, you know, and the dog knows how to do all these things because the person has spent so much time with them and loved them so much, they seem so smart. And I really believe that the greater the consciousness of the animal, the more loved it is, you know, cat or dog. So it's just, I think dogs are more special and put here for a reason than people think. I don't think they really came from wolves. I don't think you can get a pug from a wolf. That shit is ridiculous. Did you ever see what a pug looks like? My God, I'll tell you guys a story. My cousins used to have these two pugs. They were old, they were sick, and every 7 or 8 minutes they made a sound that sounded like the worst sound effect in a horror movie you have ever heard. Like it was like this barking shriek from hell. And they both made it. And it was like I hated visiting them because those dogs, like you would just be sitting there talking and the dog would let out this shrieking howl from hell and you'd be like, huh. And then you'd have to try to pick up the conversation again. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, this fucking, I got to put those dogs down, man. They're just like, God, it was terrible. I was like, how do you live with an animal that makes that sound every 8 minutes? And like, I don't know if it's like Tourette's and dogs. Anyway, they really turned me off in pugs. Can you tell? All right, that's my spiel about dogs. What else you guys want to talk about, all right? Yes, I know. That was going on too. Okay, 250 legislators traveled. That's right. That's right, constantly. Meanwhile, while Charlie Kirk was being slaughtered on TV, 250 of our senators were on vacation in Israel. What were they doing? What were they doing? Let's see. Wait, I have a comment on YouTube. Come back, comment. Come back. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. There's one of those in my neighborhood. I've never seen it, but I could hear it in my head as you're describing it. They're the worst, man. I don't know if you guys have ever had a dog like that. I feel bad for the owners. He finished the meth. I missed that. Trump and Starmer did a press conference and said they won't stop until they return hostages. What hostages? There's no more hostages. It's all bullshit. This is not a hostage situation anymore. This is a land deal. Let's see. I would love. Okay, what else you guys got for me? What's up, NYC, WTC? I was just talking about 9/11. Okay, I'm caught up. What else, you guys? What else? It's Saturday night. What are you guys doing on Sunday? Anything interesting? I got to take my son to a movie that I don't want to see at all, but he insists that he wants to see it. I don't want to go. I don't really go to the movies anymore. You know, I watch a movie that I've already seen at home that I know is good. Hey, Rain Mama, welcome back. Hiking. I wish I was going hiking instead of being forced to take him to a movie. Hiking is great for you. Hiking is very good. Missy Sue, of course you're going shooting. I wish I was going with you, my friend. How's it been going? Hey, let's see. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania for the holidays again. We should go shooting again. Maybe we go to the one in Lehigh Valley. I heard that that one's like a lot of fun. Let's see. Working on the beach, lifeguarding. That's nice. You all spot all the propaganda. Oh, Karen, the propaganda should be very, very clear. Yeah, we'll do it, Missy Sue. We'll do it. Get a hold of me. Bridal shower, not mine. Nice, Kate. Awesome. Betty, what are you doing? Getting a massage Sunday. That's a great idea, you guys. I keep telling everyone you should do at least 2 things every day for you, for your soul. And if you do, everything is a lot easier, you know? Like meditation I'm obviously a huge advocate of that. It's what keeps me operating and functioning in a loving and patient way most of the time. Exercise, you know, cleaning the garage. I do that too, silly. That has to be done. Somebody's got to do it, right? Making sure you're getting enough sleep. Sleep is so important, you guys. Getting to bed early enough to see the morning sun is very good for your body. What's up, Spice Gal? I'm in the future. It's Sunday here already. Nice. Good morning to you. Australia's in the house. Are you still doing Missy Sue? I did one for the first time in like 2 months. I've been such a little baby about it. You know, it gets a little cold here in Georgia. Not too bad, but just cold enough to where you're like, I don't want to take my towel off and go in the cold bath. It doesn't make a lot of sense because obviously the cold bath is going to be closer. But I was in a great routine. I was doing basically every day for about 7 months, and then I slipped out of the routine in winter. And summer came. I was in and out. I just went back in for the first time the other day, and it wasn't bad. It was hard. It's hard to get back in, but I got to get back into the routine. I was just talking about my ice bath because I was standing by it and it started making weird noises as if an animal was inside of it. So I took a step back closer to the light of the house and just kind of went back inside. I was like, the hell? Let's see. What do you recommend for detoxing from a trip I was in overseas? Oh, well, I guess it depends where you went and what you were doing. Were you like, you know, at a music festival, or why do you need a detox? The food overseas is so much healthier than ours here in America. I don't know. I would need more details, my friend. What else you guys got? So it is set Lebanon. Let's see. I used to live in Savannah on a street called Victory. Great vibes. Nice, Franklin. Very nice. So tomorrow, Sunday. Well, if you're in Australia, it's already Sunday. Spend it with your family. Spend it doing something you love, right? Take advantage of the time you have. Don't spend it talking about Charlie Kirk or his wife. Look, I love Candace Owens too, but you know, like she's made this her life, you know, like, and that's what she does, you know. And she was friends with Charlie, and someone has to do what she's doing, but you know, I just can't. I cannot let it consume me. And you guys shouldn't either. You should return to what's important, and that is focusing on your own evolution, your own health. If you're fucking sitting around obsessing about Charlie Kirk, then your body is not exactly in a state of thriving in health, right? Can you recommend a practitioner for removing fear that doesn't serve? So Victoria, so somebody on YouTube just asked if I could recommend a practitioner for removing a fear that doesn't serve. I can recommend a practice that removes all kinds of fears that don't serve, right? And it's meditation. Like, so before, I used to be afraid of heights. I used to be afraid of flying, specifically takeoff and landing. I was one of those cats who like grabbed the person next to me and had to apologize for taking off and landing, or who spent like the entire takeoff praying. Please, you know, like I don't know where the fear came from, but I learned to meditate, and I was taught the techniques through Dr. Joe Dispenza, drjoedispenza.com. Dispenza spelled with a Z. He has an incredible library of meditations, and he teaches meditation, and he has programs, online programs that will blow your mind. And what I found in me, funny enough, you know, I flew home from one of his retreats. It was just a weekend retreat, and I realized as I was landing that I wasn't scared taking off, and I wasn't scared landing, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, and I was never scared of that again, and I got over my fear of heights because I learned to open my heart in the face of my fear. and fear has no place in the heart. The heart knows no fear, not truly. Only the mind knows fear. The heart is not divided like the mind. The heart is one, right? And this is where your courage lives, in your heart. So when you learn to drop down into your heart and you can learn to open your heart in the face of fear, it's really easy to step out of it. And that goes for any kind of fear. Any kind of fear. I went to a Dr. Joe retreat in Toronto in 2019, and he used to set up these in the ancient Egyptian schools. Part of the initiation that they gave their people was they had to learn to overcome their fear, right? And so we always did something at his retreats. I've been to many of his retreats, right? I'll get to your comment in a second. But at this one, he wanted to do something that would really put people, because look, you can learn to meditate, but if you're going to get in your car and road rage right afterwards, what's the point? You got to learn to be in that state with your eyes open. And that means overcoming survival programs and fear, period, right? So he hired this company from Canada called Over the Edge. And we were at the, not the Sheraton, the Hyatt, no. We were at one of the hotels in Toronto. I think it was the Hyatt, I don't know, one of the business ones. 42 stories. And he hired a company to set up a way to rappel down the 42-story building. And there was 1,100 of us at the retreat, and people of every age. You know, there was 90-year-olds who got in the harness and rappelled down the fucking building. And so, you know, you get up there, and if you were like me and you were afraid of heights, vertigo keeps you just from anywhere near that edge. So we got up there, we stayed in our hearts the whole time. I got in the harness and I went down slow so that I could keep taking in the height, keep letting what used to be the fear come up, and reminding myself there is nothing to fear, to trust myself, to trust God, to trust what I was doing. And I overcame my fear of heights, and I don't get vertigo anymore. So you can use meditation, because meditation quiets the part of your mind where fear lives. Do you understand? So meditation is one of the best things you can do to be, and you can use meditation to deprogram fear-based programming, right? Whether it be, a phobia, whatever it is. And there's a lot there for you guys to check out. I mean, you guys know, most of you who know me know I'm a huge student, longtime student of Dr. Joe Dispenza's. How do you stay in your heart? So morning dove glory. So that's a great question. So the way I stay in my heart is, so I have to think of something sensorially that allows me to open my heart. And I used to have a lot of trouble opening my heart because I was a man, and men, this kind of vulnerability is very shied upon, if not beaten out of us from the time we're young. It's very difficult. Women also can have trouble, because of trauma, opening their hearts and really allowing and giving love. But how do you open your heart? So I can think of the first time my newborn son reached out and grabbed my hand with his. His eyes were still closed. He had just been born. And just the thought of his little hand wrapping around my finger when he didn't even know who I was. And somebody got a picture of that moment. And if I think of that, my heart begins to open, right? So a lot of times we need something that is sensorial to trigger, some people don't. Some people could just think of their dog or their, something that they love dearly, and their hearts begin to open. A lot of people have trouble. A lot of people get stuck. And that's usually due to trauma, because the heart is the fourth chakra. It's the fourth one up. And trauma is stored in the first three. So when you have trouble opening your heart, it means that you have blockages in those centers. That's where trauma is stored, particularly in that first center, right? First center is very important. That's where procreation and, waste. It's a very survival-based center. That's why it's located down there, right? But yeah, long story a little shorter. You can feel it when your heart opens, and literally, like when you're feeling love, when you're feeling gratitude. If anyone's ever had like a surprise party for you or did something incredibly kind that touched your heart, that feeling that you got, it's a very vulnerable feeling. And men tend to have trouble with it. Women are a little better with it than we are naturally. But yeah, that's all the phobias have come from childhood or past lives. Yeah, you're right. It's Nick. It's Nikki Beach. But listen, if you DM me and you have more specific questions about some of the things I'm talking about, some of the techniques, feel free. Just let me know in the comments when I post this, and I'll check it out. And I'm happy to help you guys. Listen, check out my podcast with Gary Wayne. It is on fire right now, especially all you guys who are into the Bible and into all this prophecy stuff. And this is the end of times. And, when you learn that, oh, okay, wait a minute. Israel has to turn the whole world against them in order to bring about their Messiah. Whoa, well, some of their actions start to make more sense then, don't they? Right? Gary Wayne is an encyclopedia for biblical conspiracies. So if you guys want to know more about those, we talk about everything from like giants, to extra dimensional visitations, Nephilim, and right across the board. We go through the Bible, and it's a really great podcast. You guys know Instagram, my friends. You also know I have a YouTube channel called Far Out with Faust. I post podcasts every week, daily content, just like here. YouTube has kept me from breaking the 70,000 subscriber mark for almost a year now because my channel is so suppressed. So I need some of my Instagram followers to make sure they're subscribing to my YouTube channel and support me there so I can overcome the algorithmic suppression that I'm constantly dealing with my content. Also, guys, I have a Patreon page, which if you like my work and you want to be a part of a very spiritual, free-thinking community, you can support my work there. I appreciate that very much. You guys are all incredible. Definitely watching. Check out that podcast. And then there's been a couple great ones these last few weeks, and a lot of exciting ones coming up. Definitely for you guys to check out. But my timer just went off, so Instagram is telling me I'm no longer allowed to talk to you constantly, consciously. What a great name. Love your podcast. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Listen, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me Saturday night. I love hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Terry. A bit of breath of fresh air. I appreciate that, my friend. Much love to you guys. Have a great Sunday. If it's already Sunday, have a great day. Spend it with your loved ones. I love you guys. You guys take care. Thank you so much. Thank you, my YouTube family. Love you guys.